present. It's too late. I have to go. I have to change things now so the future can be better or different. Nothing's better than anything else. It's all relevant. Hello there, Elisa. How are you doing? So if today is like the 26th, 2 plus 6 is 8. It's the 6th month. How am I doing? I'm okay, yeah.
You busy?
Uh-huh.
Got a battery for you.
Okay. I'm gonna go and have a look at that battery quick. Okay, so this is what I went to go and look at. Battery for the solar system. I've already got one of those, that's another one. That's an additional one. So Mr. Subban is jumping in that queue for a general reading. for the day, something to do with lovers. It's mostly about like conflict in a relationship. It's like disagreements, triggers, traumas coming up, stuff like that. If I could break it down into like a single sentence, because it's got to fit into a Twitter post, a tweet. So it's like, okay, we're talking about the frequency of triggering one another in a relationship, particularly romantic relationship, where you constantly triggering one another and constantly competing against one another. Okay, so if I observe my own relationship, when there's that competitive energy, instead of turning aggressive towards one another, we inspire one another and congratulate one another's success. So how can I break that down into a couple of sentences? There will always be competition in a relationship. Congratulate and inspire one another. Okay, there will always be competition and competition in a relationship, but the success of your partner is also your success. Mind that you don't break them down hoping to win. It's difficult because you still win either way, you know. If you win, the partnership wins. If they win, you win. You don't lose in a situation. But when we are in a relationship and we are competing against our partner, it's very easy to feel like you need to win and they need to lose, and then you might say something nasty or something deconstructive in order to give yourself an advantage. Like I've seen that, I've witnessed that in relationships, not in my own, but I've witnessed that in relationships. In my current relationship, instead of doing that, we inspire one another and congratulate one another, recognizing that, you know, I recognize that her success is my success and vice versa. So I want to put that here as in there will always be competition in a relationship. Your success is their success. Hey Ugolina, welcome. So, your success is their success, so don't others to ensure that you win is counterintuitive. Impeding is a better word. So, your success is their success, thus impeding others to ensure you win is counterintuitive. that's good. Just put in my link. And some hashtags, tarot, hashtag, Twitch streamers, hashtag, what else? How am I feeling? I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I don't know, there was a little bit of a strange current going on a little earlier. I was feeling like a lot of chaos was setting in from every direction, like right before I was ready to hit the go live button, and I had to like bring myself a center and ground. But yeah. I hope you're feeling good. How's today going for you? Posting the daily oracle on Facebook and Twitter. That's what I'm doing now. And then I'll be doing a general reading for Mr. Subin, and anyone else can join the queue as we go along. You're feeling tired, so you're chilling. Okay. Here we go. I always make these little oracle posts because it helps bring people into the stream. Because you know Twitch doesn't promote me because I'm not an affiliate, so I do it for myself. It's like my going live tweets, you know, people post a tweet saying going live now and then delete it later, so I post an oracle with my link as my going live, like a numerological, that word sticks in my brain all the time, numerological oracle for each day. In this warm weather, can't do much, yeah, I know that feeling. You've got to get up super early and get everything you want to do done early, because you know from 10:30 until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon you just can't do shit. I know. Okay, Mr. Subin wants general reading. Oracle messages, yes. Based on the numerology of the day. So today is like the 26th, and the oracle is: there will always be competition within a relationship. Your success is their success. Thus, impeding others to ensure that you win is counterintuitive. Now, it could be more, but I'd like to keep it really short because, you know, Twitter has character limits and whatever. You ate and now you're literally sleepy like a baby. And here in South Africa we say magisch vol. Fuck, what's going on? What's going on? I was frozen. We say magisch vol, oogjes toe, which means like stomach full, eyes closed. That message hit me because before I came in here, are you still here, Mr. Subin? Because I'm laying your cards out. I was feeling sad and competitive. Yeah, I often feel intimidated, or intimidated is the right word, by my partner's success. You know, if she's making progress with her guitar skill or her art skill, or she's getting lots of viewers in her stream or whatever, I feel competitive and like intimidated. But I recognize that her success is my success, you know, so I will congratulate her and be inspired by her. But I've seen in other relationships when that happens in partners, they start getting aggressive with each other because they're now feeling competitive, like they have to win and the other one has to lose. But that's counterintuitive, just like the oracle says, you know. your success is their success and vice versa. Yeah, I know my video is buffering, sorry about that. Yeah, thoughts of grudgy thoughts. Yeah, to think and feel forgiveness. Well done though, well done for engaging your forgiving current, forgiveness and compassion. Okay, Mr. Subin, I've got number 8, adjustment. This card is in reverse, so I feel like this card, the last reading you got was very encouraging for you, but the reading before that was very similar to this. It's saying that you're still hanging on to old habits and old cycles that don't serve you. Like you want to make a change, you're trying to make changes in your life, but there are still things that you do that are not compatible with the changes you're trying to create. You don't want to let go of certain unhealthy habits like overeating or oversleeping or playing video games or binge watching series and stuff like that. You don't want to let go of all those habits, even though you know those habits are not serving, they're not serving you. Okay, but this is a good card. This is something that's changed. I remember the last time I saw this card in your present moment, like that was sometime in the week, like Tuesday or Wednesday. This card was reversed for you, and this card said to you that you are like you get dedicated and motivated towards doing something, but then that motivation runs out, and then you throw away that project and you start a new one, and you're dedicated and motivated, and then you lose your motivation, you throw it away, you try something new. So this card is now the right way around, saying that you are engaging yourself passionately, and when the motivation runs out, you don't give up on it. You keep pushing through. Even if it starts feeling uncomfortable or like work, you keep pushing through. And it's a very good change to see. Where is my Mars? I wouldn't know. I don't know much about astrology, to be honest. Dapey, welcome. I have checked my chart, but I haven't memorized it. I've only seen it once or twice. I don't, yeah. Coloring cow. Okay, future interval. 3 of discs. 3 of discs for you. Mr. Subin, what is this saying to you? What is this saying? It's saying that when you are feeling demotivated, or it's saying that in order to overcome that obstacle, that obstacle of things feeling like work, feeling oppressive or difficult to do because you don't have the motivation you used to have, the way to overcome that is to work together in a team with other people who do the same things, who are working towards the same goals. It's saying form a study group, like a team, a partnership with a couple other people. And that'll help you, because when you are low, they are not, and when they are low, you are not. So there's always someone to carry weight when there's multiple people involved. Like if there's 3 people that are all motivated, you move in leaps and bounds. Then one of them gets into a depressive slump, there's still 2 people moving in leaps and bounds. They come back, one of the others subsides. It's still moving because there's always someone who has the motivation and has the energy. Maybe my Mars is in a competitive sign, so it affects me more, or maybe it affects me less. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I'm gonna go and have a look quickly at my natal chart. Since there's no one else in the queue for reading, I'm gonna just go and look at my natal chart. at that. Today is the 26th of June. I was born on the 26th of November. I can't adjust the year. The site is faulty. Oh dear. Click on the peeled fruit to continue. Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Hey Shady. No, I'm not a Scorpio. Being on the 26th of November makes me a cusp, you know, like a couple days after Scorpio moves into Sagittarius. Or the sun moves from Scorpio into Sagittarius. Okay, I wanted to see the chart, not all of these like individual things. Mars is in Capricorn. So I guess you're right, I am in a competitive sign. Well, what do you know? My Mars is very much in a competitive sign. Very interesting. Very interesting. Where's your Mars, Hugo? Seems to be something going on the laptop, because it's not my internet connection, it's not my network that's creating those stutters. It's something to do with the video encoder. And my bits are like above 3.5. You're in Scorpio. Yeah, my Mars is a sheep, I know, right? It's weird. It's a ram. You're in Scorpio like Tapey. Okay. I like those Mars and Leo placements. Those are my favorite. Interesting. Mars in Leo. Yeah, I don't know all that much about astrology, to be honest. To be honest, like I wouldn't really know what my Mars in Capricorn would mean for my personality. Well, what I could do is take the tarot cards that correspond. So Capricorn is the devil, and Mars is the tower. Okay, that helps me understand it. It's quite fucked. It's like very aggressive energies. Aggressive, competitive, angsty, insecure. You're very competitive because you're Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Mars. I mean, Scorpio. But now you're humbling yourself. Okay. Yeah, oh, we all have to, you know, just like that message for the day said. Controlling Cap? Controlling? Am I controlling? I guess. Am I? I could be. If I feel like I don't have any self-control, or if I'm feeling helpless or powerless, then yes, then I feel like I need to control every minute detail of my environment, again as a result of insecurity, like feeling, oh, I'm helpless, I've got no control, no authority, so I've got to give myself an illusion of control by, you know, telling other people what to do, and this needs to be that way, and that needs to be that way, and all needs to be perfect. You can hypnotize me again. Hypnotize away my competitiveness. So, it didn't really work. I remember the spoiler you were talking about. Sorry, I don't know if you need to work on your technique or if I'm somehow immune to hypnosis. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think you need to adjust your technique, or is your technique impeccable? Is it me? I've only ever met one person who could resist my hypnosis, and that's my partner. Yeah, Aziza Azura is the only person who's ever managed to resist my hypnosis. And it works on her, like mostly, but at some point she'll like realize, hey, you're hypnotizing me. Stop it. My technique is a bit different to yours. Yours gave me some interesting ideas, you know, using like a symbol on screen to hypnotize. That was interesting because it could very much work. It could very much work. Oh, your technique is a scam. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. It could very much work. So basically, what I'm thinking of is like, okay, I just start talking, I'm rambling, I've got your attention, I'm rambling, I start to talk nonsense, and then in that moment where you're like, well, hang on, that didn't make sense, then I flash that thing on screen, and I give a command, and then I bring it off screen. Q, you sound like you get hypnotized on a daily basis by your dog, I guess. By my brother's dog. Ruff, 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 ruff. Ruff, 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 ruff. Yeah. Hey, episode RPG, welcome. I just need to work on being more loving and affectionate rather than war mode. Dogs made you very submissive. Shit. The dogs made me very submissive. Why are you guys hanging up on me? I'm being nasty. I'm gonna have to hypnotize you guys. Don't tempt me. dog's making a noise when he's barking and barking and barking, and I'm trying to read tarot for someone. I'm trying to tap into intuition, and yeah, it's not easy. And the dog's just yapping and yapping and yapping and yapping and yapping and yapping. It grates on my brain like, you know, someone scratching on a chalkboard. What symbol and how would it look like? So the symbol would be based on my intention. It would be a program. I don't know, Hugo, have you been here for any of my spellcasting streams? Because, yeah, in the spellcasting streams we collapse realities into symbols and we program those symbols to accomplish things. So I would do the same thing. I would formulate my desire to hypnotize the audience, and I would collapse that reality into a symbol. So I'd contemplate how would I accomplish that. I'd contemplate what astrological principles can I bring in to affect it. I'll contemplate what are the resistances to this outcome, and I'll program all of that into a single image, and I'll write an affirmation of intention, and I'll use those letters to help, you know, to formulate the symbol. Yeah, construct it from scratch, basically. Construct it from scratch with all of the intentions and desires and everything that is. I haven't done it. I haven't created a hypnotizing symbol, but yeah. The only thing I've ever used to hypnotize people is this dice. This is what I usually use. That's usually my hypnosis tool. This dice. So I'll just be talking to you. I'll talk to you. I'll start talking cuck, and when you're like zoning out, I'll start playing with the dice while I'm still talking. And then you'll look at the dice, and in that moment that you're looking at the dice, I'll stop moving it and I'll give you a command, and then I'll continue. And well, in my experience, they usually do. They go ahead and do exactly what was commanded. I don't really know how it works, but it works. Like, you were trying to make me forget stuff. Like, I've had people forget whole days. So they spend the whole day with me, they never remember that day. It's gone from their minds. That's how I discovered the hypnosis. It wasn't intentional at first. And then I did some experiments with it. But now if I have to ask myself, okay, when would I employ hypnosis, and under what circumstances is that justifiable? It would only be justifiable under the circumstances that there is a predator or a very unsavory, aggressive, manipulative character that is threatening my safety or the safety of those around me. That would be the only justifiable time that I would use hypnosis. I can hypnotize you every day. Oh dear. Oh dear. But yeah, only as a tool of self-defense is it justifiable to use it. In the middle of an armed robbery, maybe. That's when I would do it. Actually, in the middle of an armed robbery, I'd use far more dangerous tools. We can transfer our emotional experience through sound, so I would do that, you know, if I was being threatened violently at knife point or whatever, I would take up like huge amounts of fear, huge amounts of shame, and I would strike them with it. I do, actually. That's typically how I do it. When people are crossing boundaries, then, you know, I'll zap them with some intense emotions. I've accidentally caused people panic attacks like that, not realizing, oh shit, the amount of fear I'm feeling right now, I can hold it, but you can't. Shit. I can hold this much fear, but I give it to you. Oh dear, you have a panic attack. My bad. That has happened. You can't do weird stuff to others. You get insta karma. I see. I guess for me, part of the intention of like learning about magic was to find some way to secure myself and my family, to, you know, empower myself and my family. Loon Ascension Psychic Development course with Psychic. Who? I always need to check what I'm thinking about, not to put any harm to no one. That's a healthy practice, just to create a bubble for protection. Yeah, I wouldn't know much about that. My techniques have always been a little more invasive. Instead of shielding, a little more aggressive. Yeah, like saying offense is a better defense. So instead of just protecting, to actually go on the assault when threatened. That's just been my technique. Like break in, cast illusions, make them feel, turn the vines on the ground into snakes, and that sort of thing. Hey V, I took down the bots, but I will add you to the queue for a reading right away. Yeah, so casting illusions, transferring emotions using empathy, basically to transfer negative emotions as a weapon. When threatened. What else? Hypnosis. Instead of like retreating, saying, okay, I just need to protect myself, a big shield keep me safe, it's more like a big sword will keep me safe. That's been my approach to magic and self-defense. So I'm laying this spread out for you, V365. Are you from the Clockwork City? You give shield to the other person as well. Okay. The people that you care about, or the people that are threatening those you care about? I assume you're talking about those that you care about. Since I didn't get a question from you, V, I'm just reading generally. 7 of Wands. This card says you've already made your decision. You already know what you want and how you're going to get there. So it's counterintuitive to like change direction now, or let what that other person just said to you cause you doubts or make you feel like you're on the wrong course. You know what you want, and you've already chosen how you're getting there, so stick to it. Don't change now. Don't change your mind now. I don't know. I don't know, V. That's just what the card said. You would know what decision. It's specifically to do with your desires, like what is you passionate about, what you want out of life, and your decisions on how you're going to get there. It said you already made that decision. So, you know, here I'm seeing a bit of relationship trouble. It's like someone that you're in a relationship is telling you the way you're doing things isn't going to result in financial security. The 6 of Discs, it's like, or they're not necessarily saying it to you with their mouths, but you're looking at them and the way they do things, and you're like, I couldn't do it that way. Am I ever going to get to financial success? Feeling like your methods of securing yourself are not adequate when compared to theirs. but that's not necessarily true. You can learn from their example and you can improve yourself, and they are learning from your example and improving themselves. You have a piece of the puzzle that they don't have, they have a piece of the puzzle that you don't have. It's kind of like they have financial security under their belt and you have like health under your belt, like diet and whatever, or maybe it's vice versa. It's one or the other. Yeah, so it's saying you already know what you want from your life and you have made decisions on how you're going to get there. So don't let this feeling of inadequacy cause you to doubt yourself and the way you do things. 4 of Wands is here in the future. It's something that's on the horizon, what's opening up for you. It's kind of a key that helps you unlock it and a warning on things to avoid. 4 is like about rule, and like ruling a kingdom, your own inner kingdom, your own world. It's also about like mental discipline, focus, reliability, that kind of thing. A lot of strong, healthy masculine characteristics. And then Wands is about intentions and desires. Intentions, desires, and passions. So the card in reverse is kind of saying that you're going to need structure to accomplish the things that you desire. If you want to exist, if you want to do the things you're passionate about, then your routine or your structure, your like list of things to do, has to consist of things that you're passionate about. This card in reverse says that in the past you have had these ideas, all these fantastic ideas, but not actually doing the work to get them. So just be mindful of that, and set those routines, set that structure, and stick to it. You give them a shield, the one that is threatening you? Hectic. You're like destroying my paradigm here. You're like demolishing my worldview, Hugolino. You know, in my worldview, we fight to win. If you come at me with a sword, you know, I'm gonna sword fight you. I'm not gonna give you a shield and be like, here, protect yourself, I'm coming. No, if you've got a shield, I'm gonna take it away from you. Shatter it. Maybe I've been looking at things wrong. Maybe it's my Mars in Capricorn. It's because you get fucked. You get insta karma. Fuck that, hey? Fuck karma. So tell me what that looks like. What does karma look like for you? What does insta karma look like? Because like, if I'm gonna give you an example of karma as I see it. Hey Barney, welcome. Justified Barney. Okay, so an example for me would be, let's say my friend has a sexy wife, sexy girlfriend, and I'm looking at her and I'm like, damn, I wish she was my girlfriend. And so then I go and I use hoodoo to make her break up with him and get into a relationship with me. But my friend, my good friend whose girlfriend I'm stealing, is a huge ass guy and he's got a very short temper. So now my karma is that I might wake up one day and he's like kicking down my front door to beat the fuck out of me for taking his girl. So that would be my karma in that situation. I feel like that's a good example of how I see karma works. But how do you understand insta karma? Because you're saying if you do something bad, you get insta karma. So let's say I hurt someone with magic. What is happening, the karma that is happening for me, is I'm opening myself up to be hurt by magic. They might realize that I attacked them with magic, that I hexed them, and then throw a hex back at me, you know? Or, literally, I hex someone, they become aware, oh shit, I've been hexed. Reflect, send that hex back to where it came from. Oh shit, now I'm hexed as well. But it's not a guarantee that it will happen that way. It's just you open yourself up to it. It reminds me of the scripture where Peter and Jesus are in the garden, and Peter cuts off a dude's ear with his sword, and Jesus heals the guy's ear and says to Peter, no, if you're going to live by your sword, you're going to die by your sword. So if If you claim survival by killing others, one day someone is going to kill you in order to survive. It's karma. So, yeah. You get justice instantly. So yeah, I'm really interested to know what that looks like. Like, if you can give me an example. You were a naughty person before. I'm hoping for an example of something naughty that you did that resulted in insta karma. But no pressure, no pressure. It's too much stuff. I see. I see. You are reformed. Beautiful. Yeah, I try to take a more aligned action. You know, every time that I take a step, I judge myself and I be like, okay, did that result in growth? Was that positive or was that negative? Did I hurt myself and others? What was the karma of that action? And then the next step is better or more aligned because of it, because of the lesson. It was just my ego didn't care about other people. Very interesting. But you are only 17, Hugalina? Just went what I felt by doing. Is Hugalina only 17? Are you only 17? Why are you being so hard on yourself, Lina? I never cared. Yeah, most of us were pretty self-oriented and self-centered when we were like 16, 17 years old. Went by lust. I see. Lust for power, lust for pleasure. Sounds familiar. Oh, you're only 10 years old, okay.
Sorry.
That's a joke, I'm sure. When I was 10 years old, what was I doing at 10 years old? Oh, jeez, I was a horrible creature at 10 years old. I was a sadist at 10 years old. Lust for lust? I don't know what that means. But yeah, I was a sadistic creature at 10 years old. Never mind lust. Yeah, I guess there was lust involved. Lust to hurt. Lust to see suffering. Lust for pleasure. Hedonistic. Did you get fat? Did you turn into a fat animal? Because that's usually what happens to hedonists. They turn, I was going to say we turn into fat animals. They turn into fat animals. Dapikogram says she's a minor who knows a lot for her age. Probably an old soul. You also like to see others suffer. Also used to like to see others suffer. Hectic. Fucking hectic. Yeah. I wouldn't just like to see it, I would go out of my way to do it, you know, to cause suffering and pain and hurt things and people. Kill things, not people. Not a 10 anyway. But I used to love to stand on the snails, pour salt on them, tie the locusts to firecrackers and stuff like that. I'm always an advocate for peace and chaos in order. You used to eat the men? Wow. Hugolina says, I ate the men. I ate them. All the men. Or you're talking about the snails. So, advocating for peace and chaos in order. So, like, I am a chaot. I'm a chaotist. So, I'd love to understand your perception on chaos and order, because that's like what chaotism is all about. It's about the fact that chaos is orderly, and you know that order and chaos are not opposite to one another. So I'd love to hear you muse a bit more. You ate their snakes. Yikes. Hectic. Hectic. To heal your own pain is to see others suffer, you used to believe. Would you press charges on yourself if you stole something? That's an interesting question. How about you, Davy Kergram? Would you press charges on yourself if you stole something? Hugolina says she would press charges on herself. I wouldn't press charges on myself. Nope. If I was stealing from myself and I caught myself stealing, I would just beat the fuck out of me. But I wouldn't press charges. I wouldn't get the state involved. Nope. I think so, hey? Hugolina, are we right? There were venomous snakes that you were eating, weren't they? More venomous, most yummy. Yeah, I get you. The more venomous those snakes are, the yummier they are, aren't they? Isn't it? It's the truth. So what changed for you, Hugolina? If you thought that healing your own pain meant to see others suffer through it, what changed that perception for you? In some places in Thailand, they eat snakes for breakfast, including the skin. Interesting. I'd extract the venom and smoke it. Fuck. I've heard about Arabians smoking scorpion venom. Love. Did you experience love? Did you deliver love? Can't really eat a species that resembles reincarnation. Why not? I ate a snake. Why can't you eat a snake? I see. When you finally actually knew what love was like, and then what you had been doing to others got done to you, that's when it clicked for you. I see. Snakes must be respected, they're sacred, but what if the snake offers itself to you as a sacrifice? What then? Like, if you call out to it, if you call out to the chaos and you say, bring forward the sacrifice, and then the snake comes forward and the snake is wounded, what then? And it's like the snake is saying, hey, I'm here to be your sacrifice, to be eaten, consumed to become part of you. You become part of me. Karma. Some karma for you. Some karma smacked you straight. Karma was like, wake the fuck up, bitch. Yeah, I know that feeling. But I'm just being the devil's advocate when I'm saying that, what if the snake presents itself to you as an offering? I'm still very interested to hear about chaos and order from your perspective, JP. Very interested to hear about that. Hear more. I'd love to chat a bit about chaos, if you're up to it. The snake was love. You're just a kid though, there's more karma to come. There's more karma to come. What seeds are you sowing? I don't know, I feel like she's sowing pretty good seeds into the prison. She's sowing some pretty good seeds, so I expect that your harvest is going to be a pretty decent one. More karma the better. Wish you experienced that numerous times. The snake was love. Whoa, I got lost now. I just got lost in that conversation. Like, what? Karma are lessons. Transformative, like a snake shedding its skin. Painful but orgasmic. What? 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 Is it like removing a loose tooth when you're a kid? Something like that, maybe. Now you're just resting. No, you're not resting, Hugolina, you're not. Maybe you're telling yourself you are, but you're not. You're sowing seeds of love and care and affection into your life and into your relationships. And you're sowing seeds of commitment and abundance and potential into your online platforms. So you're not actually resting, you're busy planting, you're preparing the soil. You have been preparing the soil, you know, that was all the shit from your past. You put it into the ground and turned it to fertilizer, and then you started planting seeds on it, healthy seeds. Yes, you got some weeds and some poisonous stuff from it, but now you learned what is poisonous and what is good, and planting good seeds. I don't know what the fuck Dave Picogram is talking about. He's been smoking too much. What you talking about, bro? All the pain and suffering being not repressed and just soaking it all in. What is the dark night of the soul? It's like going through the dark night of the soul, but each time it gets more intense than the others. What are you talking about? What is the dark night of the soul? That sounds like a pretty miserable life, where I have to keep going through winter, and every winter is darker and colder than the last. No thanks. Winter is shit, and some winters are bad and some winters are not. So, you know, if there's a dark night of the soul, a winter of the soul, it's the same. Some nights are darker than others. Some nights are colder than others. It doesn't get worse. But after planting, you're resting and drinking iced tea. Nice. Nice. I'm gonna like do some collective reading. dark, depressing shadow work changes, etc. Thank you for the clarity, Justified Barney, but I do actually know what the Dark Night of the Soul is. It's a very archaic word, and I try and avoid archaic words. So when I see them used, you know, I challenge them to ask, what is that? Do you even know? Because a lot of people talk about shadow work and they have no fucking idea what it means. A lot of people talk about going through the abyss or whatever, and they don't know what the fuck that means. So when people are saying things like that, I will always reflect it against them, say, okay, what does that actually mean to you? Because it could mean something very different to each person. But thank you for the clarity anyway. Yeah, when I get to this point in the stream, I usually read for myself, but I'm going to do a little bit more of a collective reading this time. Got no space. Got no space for 6 cards. Got no space for 6 cards. There's it. I think that drinking blood is always ritualistic, whether you're conscious of it or not. If you're going out of your way to drink blood for whatever the fucking reason, whatever reason you're doing that, it's a ritual action. You're reprogramming something. It's antimony. You're facing a taboo, definitely, or you're bringing something into yourself as part of a healing ritual, even if you're not conscious of it. As a refreshing thing to do during your period with ice cubes, lol. Should you call the cops? We don't call the cops, Barney. We're anarchist, but maybe you should. Yeah, who are the cops? Who are the cops? We could call them. There are none. What's her name went offline? Nina went offline. Yellow Daisy's online. We could call Yellow Daisy. Nah, Barney's not being a snitch. He's not being malicious. He doesn't want anyone to get hurt. That's the reason he's suggesting that we call the cops. But we're anarchists, you know. We deal with our problems ourselves. If there's a predator, we catch him, we tie him up, and we beat him. Strip him naked and beat him. Piss on him a few times. Let him go. If he does it again, we just stone him to death. That's how it works in anarchism. Ah, also being sarcastic. My mistake. Knight of Discs. Knight of Discs is reversed. So we're making big changes to our lives. Like for me, this battery here is part of this card. This massive ass battery. Which is, yeah, to build that solar rig. This card is talking about that. It's like a complete rebirth in the way that I do things at home. No more electrical appliances, only gas and fire burning appliances, solar appliances. For others, this could be like moving, in the process of organizing, moving, you know, actually stepping into making it happen, or maybe adjusting diet. Like I know Justified Barney just changed his channel, deleted his old channel, put up a new channel. That's this card for him. Hugo Lina, to do with your relationship, the separation, recent separation, and the new plans that you're setting in motion as a result. Yeah, that's the Knight of Discs for you. I know absolutely jack shit about Depicogram because he's very evasive. Every time I talk to him, he ignores me. So I actually have no idea what's going on for him, but I can only imagine that something along the lines of a Knight of Discs and a rebirth in his physical environment is taking place. All I know about Depicogram is that he smokes a lot. He's a fucking drugger. Prince of Swords. Where are we? Ah, so Knight of Discs could imply that you don't have any soul at the moment, or you're realizing what an impact the soul is having on your life and trying to make changes as a result. Like trying to set yourself boundaries with the soul. Zol means weed, by the way. It's just a South African term for it. Might go camping next week. Go 6 hours west, do my traveling Gypsy Tarot reader thing. Then might make it north. Prince of Swords, what is this talking about? This is crossing the present. So this is like strategy, planning. So this this rebirth that we're going through, it's not something that we have chosen. It's something that is like happened to us, and so what we're doing is we're strategizing and planning, and finding ways to intellectualize the change and the rebirth and what we need to do in order to secure ourselves and make sure things go smoothly, and that the rebirth and new things that come on the horizon are taking us closer to authenticity instead of away from it. And that's what's crossing the present. Depicogram, I am the fucking king of poison, bro. Mushrooms, acid. What else? All sorts of shit. Iboga. I haven't done ayahuasca. So the only DMT that I've taken is Iboga. I'm joking about being king of poison. That's just a nickname. That's just like a joking title that I've received. Someone's like, bro, you're the fucking king of poison, and the amount of substances you're taking, and you just like keep on functioning. Just like a running joke that lasted a couple weeks. So the moon card in the position of the past. Illusions have been shattered. Realization of what tools we have at our disposal, what's necessary. It's like realization, first of all, oh shit, I just noticed that. Realization in, okay, now I'm actually manifesting it. What's Iboga like? That one I've yet to try. It's a stimulant. It's very yeah, it's a fucking stimulant. So it gets you going. What else does it do? It also fucks with your stomach big time. What else did the Iboga do for me? The Iboga did a lot of things, and I did a lot of things as a result of what I was feeling. So after ingestion, there was like a whole process of physical nausea and physical feelings and pains that came along with these weird emotional experiences. So I was doing breath work and sound work until that stuff all like mellowed out, and then I got up and I started streaming while under the influence of the iboga, hosting a Beltane ritual online. So this card, realization, shattering of illusions. Not really into substances, your mind is enough to handle. Yeah, that sounds familiar. The substances don't help. You know, when your mind is very chaotic, the substances don't help much. So if I have to talk from my experience, so living on a substance like cannabis, nicotine, caffeine, meth, whatever it might be that I was on at the time, I learned to cope with my mind on that substance, where I could have just learned to cope with my mind in sobriety. Being one who is schizophrenic and one who is bipolar, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on up here. So in being on the substance, I have to learn to cope with all that shit and the substance, and then coming off of it, it's like I have to start from scratch again in understanding myself and the way my mind works. And so I spend most of my life doing that, jumping from one substance to the next, having to learn from scratch how to cope with myself and life each time. Alright, now I'm substance free, you know, no nicotine, no caffeine, no alcohol, nothing. But that's now, and I've been here before, I've been substance free before, but never longer than 3 months. So now I'm at the 3-month mark. I've been substance free for 3 months. But what is this card talking about to me? So first of all, it's talking about doubts, doubting myself, and like if I'm applying it to my life, it's talking about doubts, doubting myself regarding these channels and the things that I do here, the services I provide, feeling like it's not enough, like it's not going to grow fast enough in order to make sure that I can move off grid, you know, but I'm like on the brink of that now. You see, with the Knight of Discs in the present, I'm actually on the brink. So those thoughts of doubt and those fears and all of that stuff that actually really bothered me 2 months ago, because I was like convinced that this was the end, that I was at the end of it, like I wouldn't be able to continue hosting this channel. But yeah, realization that that's all illusion, that I actually have all the tools that I need to manifest what I need to go off grid. Like maybe I can't do it through the channels, maybe the channels aren't big enough yet to make it happen, but I've done manifestations of this level before, so I can go ahead and do it again. Like to start the stream in the first place, you know, computer, instruments, microphone, lights, all of the shit that I use to host the stream. Yes, I crumpled in pain on Iboga, but only for like 20 minutes. For 20 minutes I was in excruciating pain emotionally and physically, but I wasn't like crumpled on the floor shaking or whatever. I was sitting in the lotus position, vibrating various angel names until all of that stuff settled, and it only took about 20 minutes for it to settle. Yeah, that was realizing all of that stuff was illusionary. It was all illusions, like all the doubt. That it was realizing I actually have the tools at my disposal to make this happen. All I need to do is take a step, you know, take the first step. The universe is waiting to help me succeed, and that's what's happened. That's what's going on for me now. I don't know what's going on for you guys. Yeah, I don't know what this looks like for you, but it would be realizing that the doubts you have about yourself, or the plans that you've made, or the things that you want to create for yourself, Hugolina, things that you're trying to create for yourself in your life that you've been doubting. This card is saying that those doubts and those fears are illusions, that you actually have what it takes to make it real. And the same applies to you, Fire Barney. You want to grow as a content creator, you have what it takes. And the doubts and the feelings like you'll never be successful, that's all an illusion and it can be shattered. It's time to shatter it. Depicogram for you. For you, I don't really know. I kind of feel like it's saying to you that the thoughts and feelings that say to you you need this substance or that substance in order to get through this period of life or this task that you have, that's an illusion. That sure, you can use it, you can, there's nothing wrong with it, you can use and you can succeed, but you can also go without and still succeed. You have what it takes one way or another. Yeah, it can feel like an eternity. Although in that moment when I was having those cramps and those pains for those 20 minutes, it didn't feel like 20 minutes to me. It felt like 5 minutes. But checking my watch afterwards, not my watch, checking the time, I saw, oh, it's been like 20-25 minutes, but it didn't feel that long. It felt like I just did a brief, I don't even know, it didn't feel like 20 minutes. It felt pretty quick, like a couple of minutes. I had expected it to hurt more and last longer. I didn't expect to be able to get up and be functional. After it hit me and I felt the pain and yeah, I thought that was it. There's no way I'm going to be able to continue with my ceremony tonight. I'm going to have to wait for this to wear off before I go into my ceremony, but it didn't. I think Dappy definitely knows what he's doing. But, you know, I'd also like to know what he's doing. 10 of discs in the position of the future. This is just wealth, you know? Wealth and completion. It's like saying that Knight of Discs, these changes that we're going through, like me moving off grid, Fire Barney, you closing your old channel, starting a new channel, it all is bringing us closer to our authentic self. You know, it's bringing us closer to the lifestyle and the character that is aligned with who we are. And the process, our process of doing things is bringing us closer to alignment. That's what this 10 of discs says here. It also says that as long as we commit to the changes and we commit to ourselves, you know, we will get to our harvest in the end. Jasmine Dorga, cool. I will do a reading for you when I'm done with this one. The Lover's card is in the conscious mind. So this card, in the conscious mind, is like we are looking for ways that we can improve and overcome our limits. You know, we can improve the way we do things and overcome our limits through the people who are close to us, by observing their example, by learning from them, by communicating with them. So I know for Fire Barney that specifically this card is talking about Kitsune. It's also talking about me. I know you have a closer relationship with Kitsune than with me, but yeah, it's talking about learning from the examples of others, taking a little piece of that puzzle, a little piece of that puzzle, communicating, bouncing ideas, that sort of thing. I know, Hugolina, there was a voice that was in your stream the last time when you were hypnotizing me. There was a voice who came and sat with you. I don't know who that is, but this card is talking about that individual. You're learning from them and they're learning from you. You're overcoming limitations through their example and they're overcoming limitations through yours. So our conscious mind is fixated on that process of learning from those who are close to us and those that we care about. Three of Wands in the unconscious mind. This is things that have been affecting us, whether we are aware of them or not. It's talking about hopelessness. It's like feeling hopeless for me. This goes back to that moon card and that knight card. It's like during that period when I was feeling those doubts and those fears, I was feeling pretty hopeless, like everything that I'm passionate about gets taken away at some point by the universe. Some kind of insurmountable obstacle gets thrown at me and it ends what I'm doing. Feeling pretty hopeless, you know, about the things that I desire. And yeah, so it's like because of past experiences. So here's a good example for Lena, you were talking to me about past toxic relationships and like self-centered relationships. So because of that, you know, in the present there could be quite a bit of hopelessness, like you experience love and you get hurt and you love people and it doesn't work out and it feels hopeless and it feels like, well, you did this to other people, you've been through all this shit in the past. Is love even in the cards for you? Is it like a long-term healthy marriage even in the cards for you? It feels hopeless. Like for me, the things that I want to create, like freedom, you know, teaching others about liberation and self-sufficiency and self-responsibility, I feel like that's something I'm really passionate about. But every time I step towards it, there are so many obstacles that come in the way. So it left me feeling pretty hopeless. I feel like the same applies to Barney, where he has got like these desires and what he wants to create from his life and kind of create relationships he wants to create. But then there's these, you know, like his autism and the handicap that brings, and the fact that he's dependent on state pension, state grants, and then, you know, the state grants conflicting with his passion and the things he's trying to create, leaving him feeling this sense of hopelessness. So the only thing that this card can say to us is that hopelessness is an illusion. If we can visualize our future, we can create that future. And these obstacles that we're facing, like we see in all of these cards here with the Prince of Swords, we strategize, we intellectualize, we plan, and we execute those plans, and we make progress. The Lover's card here, we learn from the examples of people around us, we communicate with people, we get new ideas that wouldn't have occurred to us without their input. So we find ways to overcome the obstacles that are on, you know, despite being hopeless or feeling hopeless, we find ways, you know, we find ways. I think it was a real person here, Golina. They sounded pretty real. It was a male voice. Sounded pretty real. It was telling you that you shouldn't be, that having snacks is naughty or something. I don't even remember. I wasn't paying much attention. I was watching The Witcher. But anyway, it's talking about, yeah, we can overcome whatever obstacles we're faced with. The hopelessness is an illusion, and as long as we can commit to ourselves and whatever changes we make, we can see the harvest. We can reach the harvest. And that's that. Your friend in league. You might leave for dinner, Jasmine? No problem. I will do your reading and you can come back and watch it. Even if you're not here. I'm going to read for you right now though. But yeah, please don't hesitate to go and eat if it's time, because, you know, that time, spending time with family is important. It is quite important. I am so cold, I'm like shivering. My bones are literally shivering. Why has this young military officer entered my life? He has a crush on me. I really want to know why he entered my life. Can you please make it clear? Well, people enter our lives all the time. It's always for a reason. It always has meaning. I don't know if it is for a reason, but it always has meaning, significant meaning. Whether or not you spoke to that person for 5 minutes and never spoke to them again or not, it has significant meaning. Hugolina sent a tip. Amazing, you sent a $10 tip. Why are you so generous? Who gave you permission to be so generous, Hugo? Thank you so much, though. Dareen, welcome. He's been dreaming of marriage and I don't know what to say. Okay, well, let's see what the cards have to say. Okay? Let's do that. Yeah. You want me to hypnotize you? Oh dear. Oh dear. I see you. Okay, so Knight of Discs here. This Knight of Discs in reverse, Jasmine, this is like, it's saying to me that he has recently come out of a relationship. Like, he is, yeah, he had a relationship that, I don't know how good it was, if it was a healthy relationship or not, but it's saying that it's not, it's very recent that he's been divorced or break up. Or, yeah, he's recently broke up with his ex, recently separated from his ex. Very recently. So that's why he's in your life. One of the reasons, like he wouldn't be in your life if he was still with his ex. 5 of Swords is in the present. 5 is like examples, teacher. So you are also involved in like military work or applications for military exams or something along those lines. Am I wrong? This card is kind of telling me that he is someone. This is like he is a teacher. He's like, Swords is about learning and education and intellect. And 5 is like teacher archetypes, examples. So he's someone he's in your life because of your interest in military affairs. He's a military officer. You're interested in military affairs. He's like that teacher guide archetype within that reality. And that's his purpose. That's what this card is saying. Is that his purpose there is to help you succeed if you go into that future. You know, if you go for your medical, your military medicine exam, whatever, he can help you succeed in that and make sure you get accepted. Future interval is 3 of Wands. Three of Wands is again about that hopelessness that we were just talking about. This is a difficult card because it kind of says that he can really open up opportunities for you if you're willing to give him whatever he wants, or he can make your life very difficult and hopeless if you don't. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult situation. It says approach him with caution because he has things that he wants from you, and he's also prepared to give you things that you want, but the things that he wants from you may not be things you are willing to give. So it says be wary of him, be very wary of him. Exactly, you love Vishal. But this card also has some encouragement for you. It says that no matter what he does, or no matter what decision you make, like if he tries to manipulate you into giving sexual favors in return for advancement, or what's the word, promotions, or a pass mark, you stand your ground, and you're like, that's not morally okay, and I'm not okay with that, and I'm not going to give in to that bullshit. He might try and make your life difficult, but he can't stop you. And this says that even if you feel hopeless, even if he tries to make you feel hopeless, whatever you visualize and whatever you set intentions to accomplish in life, you can accomplish. And like, you're the only one who can stop you. No one else can stop you. So, yeah. You're welcome. Someone else joined us. Doreen joined us. You still here with us, Doreen? Well, if you are and you'd like a reading, just let me know and I'll do it. And Hugolina joins. Fantastic. Fantastic. And you also have priority, Hugolina. NMW, I'm not leaving Michelle. I'm struggling a lot. I've struggled a lot to regain that relationship and have his love. Strong conviction you have, Jasmine. Good luck. Strong conviction. James 2700. Welcome. Hey guys. Thank you for the follow, James 2700. So much. So I will happily do reading for you. I must first read for Hugolina, and then I'll read for you. My question is, how can I become a better teacher? We'll keep you updated, says Jasmine. Thank you. So the first card I have for you is the Two of Swords. So this card, it talks about making resolution, resolving conflict. There are other teachers, there are people who have taught you. Yeah, it's difficult for me to describe it, but it's like you've got other teachers who have their own way of seeing things that maybe you don't agree with, or their own methods of teaching that maybe you don't agree with. So this card is saying that you gotta find a compromise. You gotta learn from their examples as well. Even if you don't necessarily agree with their teaching methods, you need to have a look at the way they do things and see what parts of it do you agree with and what parts of it can you bring into your own teaching practice. What else does it say? It also says learning materials. There are many learning materials for you. Whatever it is that you're trying to teach to others, there are many materials that you can be reading or learning about, studying. that can improve your ability to teach and improve your knowledge. And so it says you commit to that, take a subject you want to teach about and learn about it, and commit to learning about it like eternally, ever evolving, ever learning more. And if you reach a point in life where you've learned everything there is to know about a topic, then you start experimenting and discovering new things that no one else knows yet. Four of discs is here in the present. And this card is about structure and rule and routine, discipline. And this is physical discipline, so it's talking about discipline with your finances. So knowing when to spend and when not to spend. Discipline with your food, knowing what to eat, when to eat it. When you sleep, making sure you go to bed at a certain time in order to wake up at a certain time, so you don't burn yourself out. It's saying that structure is an important part of becoming a better teacher. So I don't know if you are a teacher by profession, if you work at a school and you teach children or whatever. So first of all, learning from other teachers, even those that you don't agree with, learning about new techniques and new resources, like studying things and committing to learn, and then also routine, because study is part of a routine, and if you're not eating properly, you can't focus, and if you're not sleeping properly, you can't focus. So routine and structure and discipline within that routine is an important part. Three of discs in reverse in the future. You have a degree in teaching and you work with kids. I did suspect that. Based on these cards, I did kind of suspect that. So that Four of Discs in the present, not only is it saying that is an important part of the process, the discipline and the structure, it's saying that you actually have that. You have a pretty decent structure and a pretty decent routine, and you're pretty disciplined within it. It's a commendation card. It's like commending you and saying, hey, you've got this. You want to know how you can be a better teacher? You're actually on the right road to being a better teacher. Future interval. This is something that is opening up for you. This is how you can ensure that you become a better teacher, and things that you can avoid. Three of Discs reversed. So when you come up with a plan and you start enacting the plan, and then you sit down and you become aware, you're like, oh shit, I just realized I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to have to talk to this person, I'm going to have to do that in order to make sure this plan succeeds. But then you don't. You're still doing all the other things, hoping beyond hope that the plan will succeed, even though you didn't do those things that you knew would be required. So that's on the horizon, and it's saying to you that this has happened to you before, where you've been like, I want to make this change in my life, and you've started doing it, and then somewhere along the road you're like, oh shit, I'm going to have to do X, Y, and Z in order to make sure that this plan succeeds, but then not doing those things. And it's saying what's going to come up on the road is like, you are now realizing what is going to be required of you to become a better teacher and to maintain that future. Don't procrastinate doing the things that you become aware of. When you become aware that there are important things you need to do, don't neglect to do them. You're so bored of the structure. Yeah, they become like, if it has no structure. And you're bored of it. You want to be like, now we go to the forest, and then the children be like, you didn't plan for this. You're messing with I'm a cat and I don't like change. Yeah, I know that. I know how that is with children. Now I feel maybe they can do that because I have built up a frame. Yeah, you're allowed to have flexibility within your framework. There is allowed to be some spontaneity, as long as you're still keeping up with priorities. But anyway, what's in the future there, what you can do to ensure that you are a good teacher and you become better at being a teacher, is that anything that you realize needs to change, make the change. Don't neglect it or avoid it. You know, go ahead and do what you realize has to be done. You want to tell stories around a fireplace. I think for that you're going to have to establish your own school instead of in the classroom at a box. Exactly. Yeah, that whole classroom dynamic is not very conducive to education, if you ask me. You know, we could go and sit in a field and do practical scientific experiments and build machinery and shit that I would have learned much better and would have enjoyed learning a lot more. So you're a mama, Evelyn. You're a mama by nature. You want to nourish and teach children. Yes, okay, I see you're talking about the Two of Swords being you becoming more open and less structured, and that's in contradiction to something else, you know, like you've got other teachers or other people in higher positions that don't necessarily agree with the way you do things, or you feel like they won't, or they do things very differently. So that Two of Swords also encourages you to have a look at that, and not only look at the parts of their methods that are not gelling with you, but also look at the parts that will benefit you, that you can bring into your practice. Like, I'm sure there are parts of their methods and their teaching strategies that could benefit you. As much as there are things that you need to change, that you feel need to change, there are also things that are working. So James, I can pull those cards out of this deck for you now. Amazing. I'm so glad to hear that you are open to learning from others. Please ask your question. Judgment and the Sun came out of the deck for you. And the Four of Wands. Okay, so this Judgment card, it's talking about righteous judgment. It's like you had certain behaviors and certain character traits that people around you, family, maybe a partner, witnessed in you, and they came to you and they said, hey, listen, if I had to behave the way you behave now, it would destroy my life. If I had to do those things or believe those things, it would result in ruin for me. So they were making righteous judgments, not condemning you, saying you're going to result in ruin, but just reflecting and saying, if I had to apply those things, it would not work for me, so I don't think it's a good idea for you to do that. And that has led to the Sun in reverse. So the way you do things was pretty authentic. It was pretty much you, even if it was hurting some people, even if it wasn't the best way to do things, it was authentic. And now you're trying to change the way you do things to please your partner, to please your family, changing who you are for them, and that's not working. It's draining you. It's leaving you feeling empty and confused and uncertain. So when this card is the right way around, it's authenticity. It's you existing authentically. Like the Sun doesn't do anything. It doesn't try to make us happy or warm. It just does what it does, and we get warm and happy as a result. The Sun's light radiates from it authentically. It doesn't try to radiate energy, it just does. And that energy gives our planet its potential for life. So similarly, you have to be authentic in your life in order to radiate the right kind of energy. If you're trying to do things to people please, you drain yourself, you empty yourself. As long as you're existing authentically, you give your environment and your projects their potential to bring forth abundance. So this is saying, what this is saying to me is that yes, listen to what others have to say, but don't change yourself for them. You can't change yourself for them. You have to be authentic. Future interval card here is the Four of Wands, and this is about structure and discipline again. It's about, it says to you, you've got things that you're passionate about, and others might disagree with you or might feel like what you're passionate about is not something you can accomplish unless you do it the way they're suggesting. But this says that it doesn't matter what you choose to do, as long as you're consistent with it and you commit to it, you can see it realized. So if you're passionate about something, do it. But what that looks like is every day you're going to have to do something that, you know, is aligned with what you're passionate about, that brings you closer to your desire and your outcome. You can't say, oh, I want to be a rock star, and then never touch an instrument. If you want to be a rock star, your daily routine has to include practicing the guitar. So that was a bit shorter than Hugo's reading, and the cards threw themselves out of the deck. You have an exam in a month's time and another one in 2 months' time. These are my future deciding exams. How will I perform? Very interesting. Okay, so if I have to now look at these cards again with that in mind. So certain people are saying to you, or have been saying to you, that they succeeded with these exams by doing it this way. Or they're saying the way you're doing things over there wouldn't have worked for me. And so that makes you doubt yourself, feeling like you have to change your study routines in order to make sure that you succeed. But the Sun card says to you, look back at other exams that you've passed, see where you did well, see where you didn't do well, and in the areas where you did well, what method did you use? What was your structure? What was your routine? What was your lifestyle like? Reapply it. And the places where you didn't do well, look at what was happening there that made it so you didn't do well, and look at your present, say, okay, I see I was binge watching series at that time that I failed, and I'm doing that in the present. I need to cut that habit out. That sort of thing can help you succeed. And then with that Four of Wands card, it says consistency. Whatever changes you make or whatever you're doing, your study routine, all of those things, you have to be consistent with it, commit to it, make sure that it's part of your routine every day until the exam happens. You know, no procrastinating or saying, oh, the exam is a month away, I've got plenty of time. None of that. The only method that works for you is to get lost in study. So then you do that, you know, no matter what other people are saying to you. If that's your authentic way of studying and making sure that you succeed, that's what you're going to go and do. And you can even say that to your mom when she says to you, bro, you're going to have to study, or do it like this. Or when I studied, I had to underline words or whatever. You just say to her, hey, this has worked for me, this is what I'm going to do now because I believe in it. Become the nerd, embrace the nerd. Sila. Thanks a lot. I feel so clear now. I'm really glad that I could provide that clarity for you. I'm at 1 hour and 49 minutes now. That's weird. Twitch says I've been live for 1 hour and 49 minutes, but Open Broadcast Studio says I've only been live for 1 hour and 47 minutes, so I guess that they're counting differently. Twitch seconds are faster than OBS seconds. See you later. Cheers. Thanks for the follow. Hope to see you again soon. James is like super efficient. Take care, James. I'm glad to hear it. And how do you know everybody though, Evelina? It's so crazy. You know James, you know Dapey, you know Fire Barney, you know everybody. It's so cool. I don't know, James. I just met them. Okay, so you just intuitively know that James is super efficient. Hi. But I guess I'm done with readings for the day. We can just chat for a few minutes and then I've got to go and feed all my piggy wigs. My piggy wigs need to be fed. Yeah, they wrote, gotta go work on strategies now. And I was like, wow, straight to work. Yeah. My piggy wigs need to be fed, and my chicken lickens need to be fed, and my cow needs to be fed, and my cat needs to be fed, and my dog needs to be fed, and there's so many animals I'm going to feed that I actually refer to them as the horde when I say it. I'm going to feed the horde. I'm not saying I'm going to go feed the pigs and the chickens and the cow and the horse, and the horse is dead, and ate herself to death. She ate so much that her stomach split and she died. She kicked the food box over and all the stuff spilled, and she just spent the whole day fritting it until she died. I should cam all the stuff on the farm. Maybe one day. Maybe. I don't know. I do feel like I should, and I do. It is part of it, like the garden that I'm busy building now, that I'm busy prepping for spring. I am taking photos and shits and videos so that I can like post it and like show the process of moving from like a barren space into a thriving garden. And then have a donation bar. Donate money, or every second I kill a chicken and everyone becomes like, ah, panic donation. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a fucking efficient plan. Although I don't know if it would be efficient, because you know, killing the chickens are expensive. I have to buy them. They're only like £5 rand. £5 rand is like 1/3 of a dollar. A dollar is like 15 rand, so £5 rand is like 1/3 of a dollar. I don't know how much a rand is to a krone. The last time I checked it was like 8 rand, but that was years ago, so I don't know what it is now. Anyway, it's like £5 rand for a chicken, a baby chicken. So I buy them in like batches of 50, 100 at a time. And then you got to feed them. You know, you got to buy food for them. And they also, because you buy them as newborns, as like 1-day-old chicks, 2-day-old chicks, they still need the heat of their mother to keep them warm. So you got to have an incubation room. You got to have a room with incubation lights to keep them warm. So that takes power. So there's all of these expenses. I guess I could try it out. Like every 30 minutes I'll kill a chicken if there's no donations. You can save a chicken's life by sending, okay, I can set a minimum amount, like you have to send $20 to save a chicken. If it's anything less than that, the chicken still dies. And actually I'm not losing anything. I just realized, because I eat the meat and I sell the meat, so it wouldn't matter. $20 to save the chicken, otherwise I slach that chicken. Slach means slaughter. And yeah, I still end up selling the chicken and making profit. Sounds like a plan. Thank you for the suggestion. But I agree with you that I should be carrying stuff, and I will be. It's one of my cards. You know, I keep all these aces up my sleeves. Doing live tarot readings with one of my aces up my sleeves, because I used to sell alcohol. That was one of my aces up my sleeves. I would brew my own alcohol and sell it. Grow my own cannabis trees and sell it. But what happened there? I had to choose, you know. It wasn't really growing. My business wasn't really growing. My drug business. So I had to like find a better solution. I was like, okay, if I do live tarot readings and mystic streams and art streams, I can actually grow and there could be a bigger future there. But I couldn't do both. I couldn't continue with my alcohol brewing and stream because I was like constantly selling stuff. I couldn't go 5 minutes without somebody looking for me so they could buy some beer, or they could buy some wine, or they could buy some. I made ginger beer and I made pear wine and sold bags of weed. All of these things are just aces up my sleeve that I play on the table when I need to. But anyway, feed a chicken to a snake. I don't have a snake as a pet. That would be fucking cool to have a snake as a pet. A big boa constricting snake. If I could study whatever I want to study, what would it be? I can't really answer that question because I would love to understand medicine. I would love to understand chemistry. I would love to understand engineering. I would love to understand coding and programming, electric engineering. I would just every single science I would like to know, study every single science. If there was like a gross general sciences that included everything, that's just what I would study. But I also, it's too hard for me to answer that question. Science is something I really love, but what would I do with that? Agriculture, permaculture, science. But I feel like it's a difficult question. I don't feel like there are schools of thought that will teach me how to do the things I want to teach, even though the things I want to do are scientific, like building the perfect ecosystem, growing the perfect ecosystem down from the smallest fungus to the biggest canopy tree, growing a whole forest, the perfect ecosystem. Eden, restoring Eden basically, but I don't feel like there's a school of thought that can teach that to me. I feel like I am doing what I'm doing and showing the community how to build a self-going home village. Basically, that is the point. Like, even though it hasn't really reached that fullness yet, so the stream isn't about self-sufficient living yet, but it will be. The closer I get to that, the more it will be about self-sufficient living and communal living. There was a point where this house was full of content creators. So not only do I want to like establish a self-sufficient, I don't want to just teach self-sufficiency, I also want to give opportunities for following your dreams and following purpose. Like this house of content creation, we've got some basic facilities for streaming and for content creation and recording. Very basic, but at some point it'll be complete. The studio will be complete, and then I want to move the studio to a communal space, build a communal studio, and then let people come and stay on the land as part of like an internship. There's no rules, no expectations. They're just here on an internship. And while they're here, I'll see, do they use the land? Do they follow the example? Do they plant seeds? Do they reap harvest? Do they use the studio to make music? Do they do live streams? Do they use the resources here to create something for themselves? And if they don't, then they're not really welcome to come back. But if they do, then they can come on as residents and they can utilize the facilities as long as they need to get their foothold, to get put their first foot into the system, into the world, establish themselves. That's kind of my objective, my goal, to create like a guild of mystics and content creators and permaculturists. Yeah, if you just lay around and do nothing and you don't use the studio and you don't work the land, then no, you get rejected. If you did your streams at my place, well, you'd have to do a little bit more than just gaming, Your gaming stream, great, that's one thing. What about agriculture? Are you going to also make sure you have food? Are you going to plant seeds and reap harvest? Are you going to raise chickens? And I want to just see many things. Are you going to start hosting astrology classes? Are you going to start teaching people about astrology? If you're doing multiple things, then I'll okay, you can be a resident here. But if it's just one thing and the rest of your time you spend doing nothing and loafing, I don't know if that meets the bill. I haven't figured it all out yet because I don't really have the facilities to go there, but that is long-term vision. That is my long-term vision. But that's that. Thank you all for watching. Thanks guys. Thanks for watching my stream, my broadcast, my radio station. QYR 97, House of Kerr. You can do your hypnotization. We'll have to talk about that, I'd have to see how you're using it and what you're accomplishing with it. If you're just hypnotizing people so that you can take advantage of them and get them to give you their cell phones and stuff, I don't know if I'd agree with that. But if you're using it, if you're teaching it to people for the sake of self-defense, also I don't know. But anyway, you're welcome, Evelina, and thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting the channel. Yeah. I'll be back tomorrow, drawing again, doing my drawing streams. I don't know if you saw the owl that I was drawing. This is the piece that I'm busy with now. Oh, you will use it for spoilers, just for that. Just to make them forget the spoilers. Yeah, and also if you ended up hurting them or lying to them or something and they figured you out, you could just hypnotize and make them forget. Awesome, you like it, thank you. But yeah, I gotta go feed my